Hello everyone, and now welcome to a game that is going to probably make me stumble quite a bit. We have Ice Orc spawning as the purple undead over here on the top right hand side of the map. Meanwhile, we have Fast spawning here as the red orc over here on the top left hand side of the map. Ice Orc playing undead, and there is actually an orc player in the match. I think Metaphysics might just be trying to troll me just a little bit. Since he thinks it's hilarious when I classically stumble and miss things. And well, what other way to make me stumble than to have a game with Ice Orc playing undead instead of orc, and then maybe a game with Infi and Romantic and Human and Undead and Fortitude, and well, all of that later for today. But that's for another time. For all of you guys who are joining in on the stream, thank you for tuning in. Having a blast, and it sounds like, or I got the news from the Back to WarCraft guys, that they will be able to cast the Gold League tournaments on Twitch. So that is in fact really good news. I think they were able to make a special exception for WarCraft 3, mainly because WarCraft 3 probably wasn't the target demographic that YouTube Gaming was really hoping to look for. Anyways, you can see very well defensive buildings being placed down by the acolytes here, trying to protect them from what could be a Blade Master or a Farseer later on. I arrive early. Who are the players for today? Well, this game is going to be Ice Orc versus Fast. It looks like there are actually observers in the game, even though there wasn't an official tournament linking on the map. So I don't know how this game is going to be played out, or what this game is particularly for, as now we're looking at Fast opening up with a Blade Master. Did you realize that Inseparable was actually watching our cast his game yesterday? Only after you mentioned it in a comment. I try to not get tied up a bit too much in the chat, so that was the reason why I didn't realize it until after the fact. But yeah, that was pretty entertaining to see, as we're looking at the Crypt Lord opting to finish off, get some additional beetles, and now make its way down. So yeah, if it ever happens with Moon, Happy, or Foggy, then I'd feel like I have more egg on my face, so to speak. I'm not realizing that the players are actually watching me cast. Even then, I think Neutron was surprised that it's like, wait, I didn't know you cast, and I was just like, Neutron, like, oh, okay. Well, yeah, I cast. Thanks. I actually found that even more hilarious, that Neutron didn't know that I was a community caster. Not as as official as the Back to WarCraft guys, but still a lot of fun indeed. All right, carry on, Beadwell, purposely switching targets right there. Blade Master, oh, steals the item. It is a Gloves of Haste. There's Dust of Appearance as the Blade Master now going after that Ziggurat right there. Ziggurat will get taken down very easily. And now Fast denying the Fast expansion, as the Blade Master going to try to go after Acolytes. We are taking a look. That Blade Master going to be able to slip on through pretty easily right there. So much damage. There goes another Acolyte down. More carry-on beetles. There's a new Ziggurat getting added in as well, in addition to that Haunted Gold Mine. Now, right now, that Blade Master is healing back up. He does have a good amount of mana and will be able to rinse and repeat. Is the Crypt Lord the undead hero to go for? Has there been a major change? Well, I would like to say this. I would like to say enough undead players know how to use the Crypt Lord effectively, while a lot of opponents of the undead don't really know how to fight against the Crypt Lord as of yet. Blade Master gonna go ahead and try and use a Wind Walk right there. There is another Dust of Appearance, more damage getting added in. Should try and just attack that Blade Master. Are these matches that serious? I was wondering if people were just trying out new builds. Even if they are just trying out new builds, we've seen the Crypt Lord win, we've seen the Crypt Lord lose, but they have been fairly decent and close games. That's important to note, that the games are still relatively close. There are instances where I feel like the Crypt Lord kind of falls off in power a little bit a little bit until it gets to level 6. The blade, you'd rather have a level 5 Death Knight, I believe, than say a level 5 Crypt Lord. There's an Impale right there, and we are now going to see a surround onto that grunt. Oh yeah, surround onto that grunt right there. So are we perhaps going to see a cancellation? Acolytes are trying to make their way back over, and so far damage is just being added onto those grunts there. All right, we may end up getting another surround, and all of a sudden Fast's denial is going to end up costing him quite a bit of gold, as 2 grunts could get lost. All right, oh, the Acolytes need to continue to block right there. Are they going to get some damage onto that grunt now? Yes, they are. That grunt is going to end up getting surrounded here in just a moment. Down to 122, or down to 72, a little bit more damage, and one more shot. There it goes. Power overwhelming, finally finishing off its target. Blade Master and Ghoul still battling it out. One Ghoul could get taken down here by taken down by Ice Orc. Meanwhile, another surround on a grunt here, and the sheer number of units that are currently out for the Crypt Lord is the main problem. By having so many units out, it actually works better than your typical surround with the Dreadlord. Also, the Crypt Lord actually plays better into the late game than the Dreadlord, say at level 3 and level 4, as the Impale and not only does damage, not as much damage as Carrion Swarm, but actually stuns units, allowing for a possible surround, and those beetles do get very powerful. So many units does equal constant surrounds. Blade Master trying to go after this haunted gold mine again. Damage going to be added and absorbed by that Blade Master rather fast. You can see a little bit of damage right there as that Blade Master now tries to walk away. The Acolytes, all 5 of them, are already here ready for that haunted gold mine to become completed, as there are a couple carrion beetles off to the north. Also, yeah, Dreadlord would be good as a second hero. I don't know if the Dreadlord is good as a second hero in the matchup. You're trying to if you're trying to double down on that same strategy and trying to just get hero surrounds, then yes, that is the way to go. But is that really what you want for your long-term strategy? I would really rather have a level 3 Death Knight than a level 3 Dreadlord in the matchup, as the Blade Master, well, is going to heal back up. It is back down to the south here, and we are, well, over 80% done. So the Blade Master not going to be able to really finish off this haunted gold mine, as we are now looking at the Shadow Hunter join in. Blade Master now going to try to join in as well. Here we go. In come the Acolytes. There is a Wind Rider in the air, and well, Fast quickly going into quick Wind Riders, and the Wind Riders may be able to finish off this haunted gold mine. Are we going to see repairs? And no, we do not see repairs. Blade Master could be in trouble though. Blade Master going to get taken down. There it goes. But 2 Wind Riders in the air with that piercing damage, high damage indeed, completely shutting things down. By the way, nope, I've already fixed that. Metaphysics, don't. It is already done. Nerubian Tower currently up and operational. We're going to perhaps try and go for another Ziggurat for a Spirit Tower for that extra bit of damage. Meanwhile, back down to the south here, Shadow Hunter and Wind Riders getting in some good damage once more. There's an Impale onto the Shadow Hunter, and the Shadow Hunter could get surrounded. There it goes, surround on the Shadow Hunter so quick, and the Shadow Hunter is going to fall at level 1. All right, level 1 Shadow Hunter getting taken down. Wind Rider, however, gets a kill off on a Hexed Ghoul, a little bit of a departing gift, as the, well, Crypt Lord has really no way of dealing any damage here. Another Wind Rider showed up to the party to perhaps stop this gold mine from being placed down. And now we are looking at still, well, Halls of the Dead. We did in fact tech to tier 2 by Ice Orc, as Ice Orc, well, is hoping to be able to get some additional heroes, perhaps get web on those Crypt Fiends in order to finally set up that expansion. Also, the net of the Murlocs helped, yeah, but if the actual Wind Rider got taken down, that would have been very useful, but no Wind Riders were lost at either. Web and Crypt Fiends getting added, adding in that second Crypt to be able to, well, train up units much more quickly. If I remember, net flying unit covers open space. Yeah, so maybe did that Wind Rider end up causing a bit of the surround? That is the question here. Meanwhile, we're looking at the beetles and just throwing of harassment units at the orc. This has been a very common strategy that we've seen with those units there. We are looking at 1 Nerubian Tower and no Spirit Towers. The Acolytes could end up getting focused down rather fast, even with that medium armor taking reduced damage. The Wind Riders, however, able to, well, perhaps try and finish off those units still. All right, Acolyte still trying to wander around here. The Blade Master going to go ahead and finish off one Acolyte there. More Acolytes need to be trained up as the Spirit Tower should be completed in just a moment. One Crypt Fiend down to the south, as well as we're looking at Isork continuing to just creep out more spots on the map. We don't see a Slaughterhouse as of yet. Wind Rider now shifting back and rotating to the south again, as one Crypt Fiend is not going to be enough to deal with not only those Wind Riders, but that Blade Master who should be rejoining in on the fight too. All right. Oh, did he unsummon the altar? Oh, he did unsummon that altar of darkness. Without that altar of darkness, obviously no third hero, no second or third hero, as ghouls are going to get focused down as well. So far, the Blade Master doing a great job. All right, Crypt Fiend going to be going after. Wind Rider is right there. In comes the Crypt Lord. Crypt Lord does not spot that Blade Master. Blade Master has a plethora of useful items with double gloves of haste, claws of attack, but he is still low on level as he picks up a random tome left behind. All right. The Wind Riders doing exactly what the Wind Riders are meant to do, constantly harassing. But, well, we are looking at Carrion Beetles doing quite a bit of harassment as well. They will end up getting taken down, but no gold is being mined right now by the Orc player, and that should have an effect overall. All right, a quick ensnare onto that Wind Rider. Rather silly. You ensnare a Wind Rider down, creeps, and then, well, you decide not to attack it because it's ensnared. So it almost gives like a little bit of invulnerability, as there's other targets that put up on that higher priority. Well, all the peons got killed there. Look at all the, well, yep. There's 1, 2. There is still full peons. Some of them were hiding. I think there was only 2 corpses, as now level 2 Carrion Beetle is going to join in on the fight. All right, Spirit Walker going to be taking a little bit of damage. Are they going to try and burrow? No, they are not. The Spirit Walker does deal very significant damage to these units, since it does deal magical damage. There were like 6 corpses. You missed it. All right, I am missing everything left and right. I'm going to try and well, focus more on the game here, as the Wind Rider is now trying to back away. Low hit point Crypt Fiend trying to get back as well. There, another Wind Rider Lightning Shield now being thrown down onto that Ghoul, and that Ghoul is going to end up dealing a large amount of damage. But I think the Ghoul's Lightning Shield also took out one of those Wind Riders. All right, there's an ensnare onto that Crypt Lord. Now Crypt Lord quickly impales those units and now trying to head back away, as the Crypt Lord is going to get back on the Blight. Oh, another marketplace. Let's see who gets better items in the marketplace. Well, yeah, focus more on the game here, as the Blade Master sits at level 3, and the Shadow Hunter will be able, well, we'll get close to level 3, but not yet quite there. So Fast is sitting on 1 base fortress. We are getting up a Tauren Chieftain for that 3rd hero. So 3 heroes currently out onto the field and picking off some of those easy items there, as the Shadow Hunter, well, 10 experience shy from the next level. Crypt Lord now going to make its way out. Blade Master seeing that level 3 Crypt Lord at level 4.5. It could get to level 5 here, and, well, this is not going to work out nearly as well as I think Isork hopes it is. He's going to have to use these gargoyles to deal with those Wind Riders. Meanwhile, Impale is not going to be that powerful of an ability going up against the air units, since Impale does not affect them. The only ground units that we've seen so far are going to be the 3 heroes, as the Tauren Chieftain is getting trained up, and this 1 raider on the ground. A lot of supply is going to be in the air, and until we see, well, low upkeep battles, we are not going to see a large number of units getting impaled, and well-timed impales making that big of a difference. The Ziggurat getting up a Spirit Tower now. After all this time, Isork finally setting up an expansion and is, well, doing fairly well. We are looking at Spirit Walkers, peons just continuing to mine away. 1 Wind Rider in the air trying to hold back here, as the Blade Master, well, wind walking, is going to do a little bit of scouting. All right, we have seen how effective that Crypt Lord can be with that Locust Swarm, though. Locust Swarm healing up units and dealing large amounts of damage. Blade Master now going to join in on the fight. Gargoyles are there, as the Gargoyle, well, as the Crypt Fiend now trying to head back. A Crypt Fiend down to 87 hit points. Is it going to get finished off? Back on Blight. 1 Windwalk strike, however, enough to take it down. Meanwhile, We are taking a look at the Crypt Lord here, still trying to finish off some units. More damage onto another Crypt Fiend as that Crypt Fiend looks to back away. There are enough carry-on beetles to cause problems as the Crypt Lord is taking a fair amount of damage. There is an 80 damage critical strike. There's the Impale, picks up, gets a Ring of Protection, and is now going to try and back away from those units as a carry-on beetle is looking to retreat as well. Tauren Chieftain sitting at level 1 does pick up Gloves of Haste. Wind Rider is going to finish off these remaining units. We are at 50 supply compared to 48 right now, but a large amount of gold in the bank for Ice Orc, the undead player. Coming back through, there is that fast expansion attempt, and how much gold difference is there? 12,500 versus 10,000 gold, so only about 4 minutes of mining difference once some peons actually make their way down to the south. So that constant harassment really having a very big and profound effect, as we are still now at Black Citadel and going for a third crypt and a sacrificial pit. So 3 crypts and no slaughterhouse, interestingly enough. So we are not going to be getting into obsidian statues. All right. Blade Master, as many of you guys know, though, Gloves of Haste do have diminishing returns. So so oftentimes you would rather have those Claws of Attack +6 be transferred over to the Blade Master than Gloves of Haste, as we're looking at another burrowed carry-on beetle that was trying to harass the gold mine off over here. Crypt Lord still sitting at level 4. I'm going to go ahead and get more beetles out from the ground as well. This is a large number of ghouls. No weapon upgrades that I see, but we are getting that improved carapace upgrade there for additional armor. All right, more beetles getting added in onto the field. 15 to 18 damage. That is actually more than a typical ghoul itself, as we are looking at, normal type of damage. All right, Blade Master gets up to level 4 off of a carry-on beetle there. So dealing with a level 4 Blade Master, soon to be level 4 Shadow Hunter, and soon to be a level 3 Tauren Chieftain. Orc should get like 1 or 2 Witch Doctors just for those burrowed bugs. If there was already a Spirit Lodge, I would agree with that. But because Orc players, we are looking at Tauren Totem instead of the Spirit Lodge, that first Witch Doctor or that first Shaman is rather costly. All right, Blade Master now going to be making its rounds back over. Tauren are out onto the field. So Spirit Walkers, with Spirit Link and Tauren, they're not going to be that bloodlusted, overpowered variety, but that front line is going to be difficult to deal with. Oh yeah, since when regular Tauren relevant again? All right, so regular Tauren's relevant once more. Tauren Chieftain also sitting at level 3 goes for level 2, or should be going for level 2 stomp here in just a moment, as the Shadow Hunter gets to level 4 as well. Back off to the north, carry-on beetles once more getting another kill. There is that little corpse right there. Burrowed carry-on beetle. Is it going to get taken down? Yes, it will. Peons now trying to come in for the repairs, and this is just constant harassment. You're trading mana from that Crypt Lord and skeletons from the graveyard for damage, and as you continually do that, the peons are not mining and they're taking a lot of damage as well. Undead sitting on a mass of wealth here. Only about a minute of mining so far, as the carry-on beetles are trying to finish off more units again. Are they going to try and burrow? That is that follow-up question, as this one burrow here, it needs to be repaired constantly. Blade Master now rotating back over. We're looking at plus 13 damage on that Blade Master, even without a Kodo Beast, which will be readily available in that next battle. So far, Ice Orc is going to be able to attack perhaps close to a 80 supply army, adding in a Frost Worm. So that Frost Worm is there to counteract those Tauren, slow things down a bit, and the Wind Riders who want to take down that Frost Worm are not going to be able to do so easily, as there is just an army of gargoyles there as well. The follow-up problem, though, is that there is no real Spirit Walkers with Disenchant is probably enough to just mask the spell area and keep that unit right there. The problem is going to be that there is no Death Knight to do a burst heal of damage and keep those Frost Worms alive. All right, units now going to be shifting back off to the north. There is a Spirit Walker right there. It's going to be able to engage and take down those carry-on beetles, dealing 40 damage per attack. That is going to be rather fast, as the units are looking to back away again. All right, we are looking at some troll headhunters joining in on the fight. One headhunter getting a little bit too close to the undead army, and that headhunter realized, you know what, at least I can deal a dying spear before I leave the game. Maybe orcs should just go for headhunters and shamans or versus this, or are they too fragile to impale? Yeah, that's definitely an issue. We've seen what happens with ranged units. They tend to line up in a battle a bit too much, allowing impale to really shut them down. We're also looking at double potions of mana on the Crypt Lord, as well. Ice Orc getting ready to push on in. All right, there is some reveal right there. We're going to see an engagement. There's a purge onto that gargoyle. Gargoyle going to get taken down very fast. Meanwhile, there's that massive impale across multiple units, and those gargoyles, however, were not able to attack even those units that were in the air temporarily. Tauren Chieftain throws down a giant stomp, and now all of a sudden the Crypt Lord, is it using, yeah, Locust Swarm? There it goes. Massive damage being dealt across multiple units in this large fight, as the Crypt Lord also healing up a large amount of damage too. All right, another impale being brought back up, and all of a sudden the power spike in the undead army finding all of the right units and just finishing off target after target. As well, there goes a Kodos. Scroll of healing now used there, as the Crypt Lord almost at level 7 gonna try and back away. Perhaps they could finish off a couple more units, and there they go. All right, so a large army indeed. Let's take a look. 42 supply going up against 67. Shadow Hunter was almost taken down. Blade Master still sitting at level 4. Tauren Chieftain sitting at level 3. And a well-timed impaled followed up with a well-timed impaled follow up with some Locust Swarm, and this is going to be a problem. Locust Swarm, if you're just constantly using that ability over and over again and just waiting for the cooldown to come to an end, I don't know what really fast can do to counteract that. Locust Swarm is incredibly powerful. It makes the Crypt Lord very difficult to take out. It deals massive, terrible damage, and well, we saw how quickly things shifted in that fight there. Zerg Impersonator. Well, if you consider Blight Creep, but then again, Undead summons their units like Protoss, not morphine units, morphing their buildings like Zerg does. That's much more of a Night Elf thing, if you think about it. Using a wisp to turn into your building. If Tauren Chieftain have Shockwave, it could clear some. Yeah, well, it is going to come down to the fights here. The Crypt Lord trying to get back all of that precious mana. You can see the Crypt Lord also holding onto a scroll of healing, and Death Knight with Unholy Aura first. I very rarely do I see a second hero Death Knight go for Unholy Aura first. I would have thought that the Death Coil would be much more beneficial to the army, as we're now going into high upkeep. Ice Orc going into high upkeep here. 88 over 90 supply. Are we training up more ghouls? Yes, indeed. And as we're training up more ghouls and finally one obsidian statue, we'll see what comes across here in just a moment. Hex doesn't stop Locust Swarm. No, it is not a channeled ability. That's one of the reasons why it is so strong. The Crypt Lord is able to still walk around and move. I don't believe Hex... Well, I know a Stormbolt wouldn't stop it, so would Hex stop it? I mean, technically the story lore-wise is that well, the Crypt Lord releases a bunch of locusts from himself. If he turns into a crab, well, he shouldn't be able to release locusts anymore. But then again, I guess those crabs are basically the same thing. And I guess the Crypt Lord almost becomes a carrier with some sort of vampiric aura. That's really what it looks like as the impale goes down. All right, big damage indeed. Gargoyle is now coming across here. Tauren Chieftain going to be able to throw down a stomp here in just a moment. There goes, well, stomping on a bunch of ghouls, but the damage is rather low. All right, there goes another impale again. Level 7 now onto that Crypt Lord, still having double potions of mana. There's a scroll of healing on the Death Knight as the damage is still raging on through. All right, that Locust Swarm should be coming to an end here momentarily. Death Knight gets up to level 2, doesn't have that scroll of healing any longer. The obsidian statue is actually just too far in the back to really be doing anything. as we are looking at, well, multiple ghouls trying to swarm around all of those troll berserkers. Frostworm 1-3 upgrades, Death Coil onto that Frostworm. Frostworm staying alive temporarily as, well, Ice Orc says, you know what, I can rinse and repeat all day long, waiting for that cooldown to come to an end. All right, level 7.4 going up against 2.7. Everything is just melting with the focus fire from those frostworms. Meanwhile, it looked like ghouls were trying to put pressure onto the main base. Only a minute of mining left here. As the acolytes, what are they going to do? Are they going to try to unsummon some buildings? Or nope, freeing up supply by taking down those acolytes. Acolytes going to fall. There you go. Going into, well, enough supply to perhaps train up some more ghouls or an additional frostworm. We're at 79 supply right now. There's some ghouls. There's another obsidian statue. And there is another ghoul there. All right, let's make our way back down to the south here. There is one Spirit Tower, one Nerubian Tower. Blade Master going to try and put in some pressure. Torrent Chieftain is going to, well, try and take down this expansion. Taking down the expansion where the only player, where, well, Ice Orc is only getting his gold. Is incredibly important right now, but what is it going to cost him as the ghouls are now showing up to the party? Torrent Chieftain going to try to get in position right there. Are we going to see the stomp? There's an Impale picking up a good 8 to 10 supply of units as we're looking at the gargoyles and the frostworms trying to stay alive. Death Coil, is it going to be enough? It looks like one frostworm will get taken down. Level 5 now on the Blade Master. Once we have level 5 heroes on the Orc side, there is a sudden power spike as well as Healing Wave, and that Blade Master's critical strike does deal more damage. Frostworm still trying to fight their way through, and this is exactly what you need to do to counteract that Locust Swarm. Attack your opponent when it is on cooldown. Another Frostworm going to get taken down right there. 65 supply compared to 44 as we see the Scroll of Town Portal head through. All right. Based off of this, I'm assuming that Ice Orc is going to hang back just a little bit, heal up, get a little bit more hit points and mana before pushing on in. Cryptlord sitting at 150 mana right now. Death Knight going to be picking up a Scroll of Healing, and there is 14 seconds left on that cooldown there. Units going to be rotating back off to the north again. We're looking at a 49 supply compared to 67, ready for that engagement. 4 seconds left on that Locust Swarm, and here we go. Ultimate abilities doing what they do best, just, well, engaging and dealing terrible damage. Still no use of the Locust Swarm as there's the Impale now coming on through. And, well, we do have Potion of Mana. Are we going to see another Impale? Torrent Chieftain throws down a Stomp as the Blade Master is able to back up in time. All right, still fighting our way through again. There is another massive Impale. So, well, at first I thought it was going to be Locust Swarm, but instead, Impale after Impale again. As we're looking at the Cryptlord sitting at 137 mana, not quite enough to use that as of yet. There is another Impale once more, and instead of using the Locust Swarm, just used 3 Impales and still did massive damage and, well, stopped much of the damage from that Orc RB. 34 supply compared to 61. Those units are trying to head to the back now. Cryptlord gets up to level 8. Death Knight now sitting at level 4 as the Gargoyles are going to be able to finish off some of those Berserkers again. Frostworm sitting at, well, down to 500 hit points, needs to try and stay alive. Cryptlord is still around, getting in large amounts of damage, trying to get in damage onto some of those units as we are looking at an Impale, but, well, going to get a surround onto that Shadowhunter. Shadowhunter has a Potion of Mana, could try a Healing Wave, but with no real way out, still going to end up falling, perhaps giving the GG here. 18 supply next to 60. This new undead style, using, well, the Cryptlord, that Cryptlord is so powerful, and even when he didn't use the ultimate ability, it still had a very major impact in the game. That Impale, essentially just being able to pick up units and take them out, a very powerful stun. And, well, that Cryptlord just allowed the rest of the undead units to get free damage on all of those stun units for quite some time. Who thought they needed to buff Cryptlord? A lot of people thought they needed to buff the Cryptlord. The Cryptlord you rarely ever saw as a primary hero. The Beetles early on having a good impact early game, and then the Impale not being able to, like, cast out of it, or that channeled ability out of it, having a major impact in the late game. So much smart swarm and stuff. Yeah, still that Crypt of Corruption. Yeah. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed it.